Well, hi there, South Fellowship. This is Ryan Paulson coming to you with our video on 1 Kings chapter 18, verses 16 through 46. But as you can see, we're going to start on verse 22 and just go to verse 24. There's really one concept that I want to present to you here, and if you're interested, I encourage you to do a little bit of extra study on, because I think it's a rich concept if you're interested and want to chase it. Here's what this passage says. If you've sort of been with us, you know that the context is Elijah is confronting the prophets of Baal. And this is really going to be Baal versus Yahweh. And here's what it says. There's a battle that's going to happen on Mount Carmel. Here's what it says. And Elijah said to them, I am the only one of the Lord's prophets left. Not true, but he thinks he is, and maybe better said, he feels like he is. But Baal has 450 prophets. Get 2 bulls for us. Let Baal's prophets choose one for themselves and let them cut it into pieces. Put it on the wood, but not set fire to it. I will prepare the other bull and put it on the wood, but not set fire to it. Then, and here's where we're going to dive in a little bit. Then you will call on the name of your God, and this is in the Hebrew, this is the word Elohim. And I will call on the name of the Lord. This is the word Yahweh. The Elohim who answers by fire, he is Elohim. And actually, I'd maybe even do this, a capital Elohim for that one. And all the people said this is good. So you see what's going on here. There's this assertion that Baal is an Elohim. And I don't think that's just sort of tongue-in-cheek or ancient Near East rhetoric. I think that that Baal is a legitimate Elohim, which was a category of spiritual being, of a spiritual being. We translate it God, and certainly Yahweh is considered an Elohim. But this battle isn't over who's an Elohim and who isn't. It's who is the chief Elohim, the Elohim that stands above the rest. Now, if you were to chart this throughout the Bible, you have sort of three categories or levels, if you will, of spiritual being. You have Yahweh, who is at the top, and you have sons of God, or also known as Elohim, and then below them you have angels. And sometimes, certainly, there are Elohim who are angels or just messengers. So you have these 3 categories of things that are going on here. But even within this category, this word, I just want to point out, this word is complex. So if you were to say, all right, I'm going to do a study of the word Elohim all throughout the scriptures, here's what you're going to find. Elohim sometimes means Yahweh, sometimes means foreign gods, sometimes means demons, sometimes means spirits, and sometimes means angels. So this word Elohim is this really, really broad category for spiritual being that has very real power all throughout the scriptures. Now, I think most of the time what we do is we come to a passage like 1 Kings chapter 18, Baal versus Yahweh, and we go, well, Baal is just imagination. He's made up. And what I want to say is not so fast, not so fast. I don't think the scriptures paint the picture that way, number one. They certainly don't paint the picture that these lowercase g gods are simply figments of imagination. If you want to do an interesting study, read through Exodus and the plagues. So you have like chapters 13 through 12, and look at the way that the Pharaoh's magicians are able to do legitimate miracles. They have actual power. This world is way more complex than what we can simply see with our eyes. There's a whole spiritual dimension. And this is what it looks like. There's a whole spiritual dimension of Yahweh, God, and other powerful spiritual beings. Some of these are good and some of these are bad. Some of them are ministering angels and some of them are demons. But both of them have legitimate spiritual power. And I think what we see in 1 Kings chapter 18, verses 16 through 46, and the battle of Mount Carmel is a physical manifestation of a spiritual battle that rages all around us that most of the time we just simply cannot see. So I want to remind you that there is a spiritual battle. There are Elohim. There is Yahweh, who's also an Elohim, but that's more of a category, right? So there's Yahweh. There are other gods, lowercase g gods, demons, spirits, and angels. That's a reality in the part of the world that we live in. So be encouraged today. Yahweh is the supreme. He's a supreme creator. And what you see, if you listen to the message that we gave today, is that he is good through and through and through. And these rebellious Elohims only want our destruction. So when God, Yahweh God, calls for our worship, it's for our good because he is ultimately good. If you're interested, there's one book I'd recommend you picking up and reading. I think you'll be encouraged and maybe your mind will be blown up a little bit. It's called The Unseen Realm by Michael Heiser. It's not an easy read, but I think you'll be really blessed by it. Okay, I hope that helps. We live in a spiritual world. God is a good God. He reigns above the rest, but ultimately we have to choose who we're going to worship. Choose Yahweh. Have a great rest of your day. God bless you as you study, and be looking for in your Bible. I think it'll probably capitalize Lord when it talks about Yahweh, and lowercase g gods, lowercase g will typically be Elohim. But look at the way that distinction is made and what's going on. Have a great day. See ya.